Yes, good day. Healing Art Podcast with Yanolu Okwande. I want to talk about something, and I hope I'll have to split it so that it won't be a very long one. One of my mentors, Dr. Reverend Mrs. Olufunke Adetsuberu, has its slogan: trace it, face it, erase it, replace it. It's like four pointers, like trace it, face it, erase it, and start replacing it. What are we tracing? What are we erasing? What are we facing? What are we replacing? I'm going to be discussing them one after the other. Hopefully I will discuss trace it here, then the next subsequent episodes I will share the rest, so as not to make this long again. So come along with me. Yeah, straight away, let's just go to trace it without wasting our time. Yes, I'm going to be using a bit of my life story as a point of contact for this particular series. Trace it. What do I mean by trace it? For example, let me set an example. For example, you notice a pattern in your family, in your generation, and it looks like it has become spiritual generational curse. Generational curse is just habits passed down without taking note of it, and over time Spirit has latched upon it to make sure it continues. It might not have started as a spiritual background issue in the first place. It might have just been a reckless, abandoned kind of behavior that someone did not know would be in the blood, and as a result you become what to behold. So as the generation comes by, they tend to take after intuitively. So there are some things that your great grandmother might not have done, maybe due to the kind of exposure he or she had there, your grandparent, and on the long run, exposure, situations, circumstances, upbringing, environment has imputed, as reformed your parents down the line, and it has been imbibed into their makeup. For example, if you were told that your daddy or your mommy or your grandparents were obese, and of course it was what they were eating that they gave to your father and your mother, and along the line they passed it down, and you're not looking into what they were eating, you're not reading up to know what really caused it, you're not asking if it was genetic or not. Nothing started on genetic in the first place. It was consistent imbibing of a thing, and spiritual and spirit backs it up at a point, and it becomes something that you cannot do without, in quotes. So tracing it means knowing where you started from, not necessarily digging into. Everyone is coming from somewhere, like one of my episodes, and you will always have people that are not perfect, behaviors that you wish were not mentioned in your generation lineage, some issues like maybe some character defects, some behavioral defects would surely is everywhere. So don't be too hard on yourself on that aspect. But what you're tracing actually is, okay, what caused this witchcraft? Who started it? Is it generational? Was it a friend of my grandmother or my great-grandmother that actually deceived my grandmother and initiated her before she knew it, and she had no choice? And if you have been following this Mount Zion abattoir, you will know that the devil does not play. The devil infests what God has invested in. He corrupts what God has invested in. So, and the devil will not want to leave them alone. So it might look like it is crazy, but the major thing you're actually looking at for is, okay, tracing it to how we started, whatever started the war. It could be divorce, it could be irreconcilable differences. Nobody separates without any reason, no matter how much they want to cover it up. What happened that my parents separated? What was their parents, their childhood like? You have to, even if you don't have somebody to tell you, you need to have insight. You can pray about it. God will show you the necessary nitty-gritties that you need to know. But in your tracing, watch it so that you will not dig so much to what will not make you happy again and down your spirit. Like I said, okay, one of these days I was trying to ask someone in the family about something about my father, and I wanted to know. And it looked like I was asking them some questions that were meant to have been answered by my parents. That my parents should have told me one way or the other, but life had it that I could not ask them because storm started very early in life. So we could not even, we didn't fit to ask. It was not when we could think of asking, or maybe we forgot along the line or something. And I needed that information because I needed it, and I was not told the whole truth. At the time you are digging so much, people will start telling you the messy part of your parenting care is not taken because they've seen that you are depending on them for authentic information. So if care is not taken, you start digging into really what you don't want to know. People will tell you nice things about your parents at first, but when you're digging too deep and you're asking them personal questions like this, they would have expected your parents to have told you, or definitely not a stranger, not someone outside the nuclear space should have known. Definitely, you don't expect them not to want to flaunt what they know. Everybody knows something about somebody, either little or wrong information or full information. So definitely, just tracing means knowing exactly how their childhood was, what caused what you're trying to reform and transform, so that you will not dig too deep and start. So, like me, you and I know that there's some things we are doing now, either intentional or not intentional, that you might not want your children to know about. It's not as if it's bad or good. Some are even bad and good, and you might just necessarily want to not to bother them about the things they do. Especially males, things that the escapades they have during the day, during their lifetime, they will put in their family into trouble. That's when they will now start confessing what they've done. It is normal, it is human. Let's just be factual here. So in your tracing, on a final note on tracing, in your tracing, know when to stop digging. There's some information that your parents should have told you that you should have known. If you don't know them, don't dig too deep, because you might dig up some second ways of mess that you don't want to know about. It's alright not to have too much of a clean slate. You are human, not the supreme. So take it easy with yourself. Thank you. In your tracing, know when to stop digging. Thank you.